Now the gap last time through was 13 seconds. I can't tell you how much time it takes to refuel 1 lap of fuel, but that's going to be 1 lap of fuel less that Christopher Haase needs in his pit stop. Let's just add in the complication of obligatory pit stop times in relation to the stint time, so that's going to come into play as well.
Well, our race leader Nicky Katzberg just through Flansgarden up to Schwalben's France. He's going to be with us fairly shortly, and down into the big left-hander and the big sweeping curve onto Dottinger Höhe. You're saying, Joe, that he's going to be in with us on this lap. Christopher Haase hunting him down. There's a 13.4 second gap, but we know that Nicky Katzberg is due in on this lap. 81 laps completed. Chris Van Toor out in the number 1 Audi with a lot of ground to make at 1:34 down at the moment, but we'll keep all eyes on the lead car. Nicky Katzberg, number 99, is on the Dottinger Höhe, so the fast run down here, 230 kilometers, 240 Ks. He's now pulling down there in these lovely greasy conditions. I'm sure he won't think it's very lovely, but he is bringing that car down towards the pits. Let's see if he does indeed pit on this lap. You predicted that he will, Joe?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get a stopwatch on this pit stop as well if I can, and then make a comparison with the Haase car. The Audi is due.
Well, Nicky Katzberg just approaching Tiergarten now, so he'll be within our sights any second now for the pit lane, so we'll be able to tell you whether he does indeed dive through the pits. The left, the right, keeping off the curbs, keeping almost the middle of the track. A little bit twitchy, the front end of that BMW there. Indeed, again on the power, we saw the Audi. Does he dive for the pit? He does indeed. Nicky Katzberg, our race leader, dives for the pit lane, brings the number 99 Rover BMW in. That still seems wrong to say that, the Rover BMW, the Rover Racing BMW into the pit lane. So our race leader is in with 28 minutes of this 48th running, the 2020 Nürburgring 24-hour. And it's been a belter all the way to go. We've still got nearly half an hour to go, just under.
And Haase has gone through to do another lap. That's on schedule. He's not off schedule by doing that. He has gone. They're a little bit out of sync with regards to pit stops, and it was how they reacted to the change of weather that have put them out of sync with one another with regards to pit stops. So we'll just keep an eye on the pit stop times as the Rover car, the BMW, Nicky Katzberg, I believe, will stay in the car. Wet tyres coming off, wet tyres going on. Still no chance of any of these drivers kind of rolling the dice. Track conditions still calling for full wet tyres. And the car now off the jacks onto the pit apron. We're just waiting for the mandatory stop time to tick by. We've already been in the pits a minute. It's about 1 minute and 5 seconds. They'll time that car to pit exit though, as the next of our BMWs, this one's the Schnitzer team, the very easy to spot Team Schnitzer livery, the white, predominantly white, but with the red and blue stripes.
Augustus Farfus then, is it in the pits? That's
yes.
Third place indeed.
Yes.
So second and third now, effectively Haase now takes the lead again in the Audi Sport car, of course. Nicky Katzberg it is that stays in that number 99 Rover Racing BMW and rejoins, and we've got Wittmann in as well in the other Rover, so both Rover Racing BMWs in lap in succession.
So 2 of the cars that are in the top 5 are already in the pits. The number 1 Van Toor car already pitted because of that puncture.
Farfus staying in that car as well.
Farfus is staying in. I would think we're not going to see any driver changes, Snowy, going into this final run to the flag. And the car that remains owing us a pit stop is the Christopher Haase Audi Sport Team Audi R8, car number 3, having inherited the lead because of the pit stop phase. We've got the number 98 up on the jack still, with fueling still being done. The tyre change has taken place. A little bit of conversation going on between the crew chief and the driver. About to come off the jacks. As we continue on, we'll get a look at the Audi pit stop and try and make a comparison. I'm not sure, Snow. You're the NLS I was going to say expert. Yeah, I am going to say expert.
I think it's an oversell, but go on.
It's a very complex set of rules, kind of like an equalisation thing, isn't it? And that's purely to reduce or to increase the safety aspect of the pit stops.
Absolutely.
This is still a pro-am kind of event. So will that pit stop time be exactly the same, bringing in the need for one lap less of fuel? It remains to be seen, doesn't it? We'll get the stopwatch on that.
Get the stopwatch on it.
Yeah,
it should be reduced. There is the algorithm that changed it, and it does make a difference.
It's a changing sheet. That's why I'm my small brain. We need more data on that. To be honest, the Haase car though continues to lead, and they'll be fully aware in that Audi pit as to just how important this final lap of this stint is. We really need Christopher Haase to keep pushing. He's got back markers, obviously. This is the Nürburgring 24 hours, so it goes without saying that we have a constant stream of back markers to get by. And Christopher Haase, no slouch or indeed stranger to the track here at the Nürburgring. And we have him now, a bit of a free track in front of him, as we continue to watch the number 3 going round. He's just coming through Versailles now into the right-hander.
Now, Joe, I've got the algorithm for that pit stop strategy in the NLS round. I know there is one applied to this. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same one, but we've got 23 minutes remaining. So 23 minutes remaining, you have to remain stationary for 236 seconds. If that becomes 22 minutes remaining, it becomes by 3 seconds. So basically a lap less is 3 seconds less in the pits. A lap longer, sorry, my apologies.
This is getting interesting.
Minute longer, my apologies. Not a lap, my apologies. Completely wrong information. Not a minute longer, my apologies. A minute longer, it's different by 3 seconds on the pit stop.
I see, right. But it's just down to seconds.
Correct.
Well, the Audi team are preparing Mirko Bortolotti, the arguably the fastest driver in that lineup. When I say that, I mean in the slightest of margins. He's a sure hand, and Bertolotti now getting prepared, just zipping up those overalls. His helmet is on, just getting prepared, and will be jumping into that number 3 Audi. They know the urgency of this. We've got Nicky Katzberg about 1 minute and 11 seconds behind on the road. But that's going to absolutely come down to nothing at all. Going towards the checkered flag here at the Nürburgring 24 hours. Christopher Haase up towards the area of the Caracciolo carousel. He's at the braking area now of the right-hander, and he's slowed slightly. We've still got the slow zone out there, so he needs to get by that Mercedes, but he's going to be stifled somewhat by both the speed of the car, so he has to slow down. But that's the same for everyone. He's not going to gain or lose anything because of this slow zone. Up towards the carousel itself, quite iconic, this corner with the Nürburgring.
I think the Mercedes that was on the right-hand side there is still the slow zone, quite rightly as you're saying, Joe, but I think that Mercedes has finally been removed. We've got some 21 whole minutes remaining, and that's the point of this pit stop thing. When I say there is remaining race time in whole minutes when you stop the pit, so you round it up to the next full minute, and then you pit stop in the seconds is there. So we are on 21 minutes now.
And we've got Christopher Haase already at Horak, the highest part of the circuit here. He's got the very technical sections of perhaps the most technical and demanding sections of this whole circuit coming up now. He's through Horak now towards Wipperman, which is a right-hander, followed immediately by a left, very high speed part of the track, but not wanting to. Then it tightens for the right-hander at Wipperman, in towards the area of Brunchen now, over the brow into the sweeping downhill left-hander, and towards the double corners of Brunchen now, through the right-hander into Brunchen corner as we know it. This is where you see all those YouTube videos of a crash fest and the track days that they have at the Nordschleife. This is the area that catches everybody out. Now he's out of Brunchen and towards the high-speed section of Plansgarten. Blind brows, track knowledge, an absolute asset here at this part of the circuit. He's through Plansgarten, heading down. This is almost flat out. Not so sure in these conditions, though. I'll take a rain check on that. Towards Schwalbenschwanz, getting towards the final stages of the Nordschleife now. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him through the braking area, which is turning and braking at the same time. He's got a Porsche just ahead of him through Schwalbenschwanz now into the Kleine Carousel very shortly. Heading towards the Kleine Carousel now. It's another banked, concrete bank turn. Make short work of that. This is the all-important sweeping triple apex right-hander onto the Dottinger Hohe, down the inside of a back marker now, using all the track on the exit and keeping that momentum, even on the slippery surface here at the Nordschleife. He's onto the Dottinger Hohe now, and it'll be shortly with us. That Audi team now gearing up for this pit stop. The leading Audi, number 3, has got the Katzberg BMW not that far behind him, and when he comes into the pits, we'll try and keep a tab on how much that BMW 99, the number 99 BMW of Rover Racing, Nicky Katzberg at the wheel. And by what we can see, the preparations going on in the pit garage now of the Audi Sport team, it's looking very likely that we're going to take Christoph Haase out and plug in Mirko Bortolotti. Absolutely rapid driver and a very sure pair of hands. He's into Tiergarten, out of that tricky, certainly that track looks very slippery indeed as he squeezes the power on and into the pits.
So by my reckoning, he's in there with 18 whole minutes left on the clock. That means he needs to be stationary for 223 seconds in the pits. I think you're going to time this, aren't you, Joe, as this car's in there?
So
that's what it's going to be. If he'd been in there a minute less, 3 seconds less on the pit stop. But he came in at 18 minutes and 15, so 18 full minutes left of the time, and I put that at 2:23 required stationary.
He stops on his marks, the refueling is going in. Now then, I know Birkelot, we've seen this happen so many times. We've seen another driver being prepared, and that's in case Haase wants to get out of the car. Of course he's not getting out of the car. It looks like there's no driver change, even though we had Mirko Bortolotti on standby. Bertolotti has not come out of the pit garage, and Christoph Haase remains at the wheel of that number 3. Tyres going onto the car as the fueling is done also. And a very cool and calm and collected Christopher Haase. We've had 40, almost 50 plus seconds as the Rover Racing BMW comes through now and takes over the lead of this race. With 17 minutes remaining on the clock, we've had a change of lead as Nicky Katzberg overtakes the Audi. The Audi now down off the jacks and out of the pit lane. We have got a sprint race to the finish of this race. Fresh wets, hardly up to temperature, if indeed they ever do, out on a wet track. But we've got a sprint race now, both cars now present on the Grand Prix Strecker, and it's an absolute fist fight for the remaining 16.5 minutes or so of this, the 2020 Nürburgring 24 Hours.
And a quick update on Twitter there from Alan Prosser. Alan, thank you for your continued support there, but a little bit of information from him. Dries van Toor found the oil dumped by the Mercedes that's parked at the carousel, which caused the problem for that time in the back. I think what's happened there is Alan, thank you very much for that information. It appears he's gone off, clattered the barrier, and that's caused the puncture. So that's caused an effect the other way around.
Cause and effect the other way around.
Alan's just telling us he's found that oil dumped by the Mercedes that's been taken off at the carousel. That's now out of the way. So as you say, Joe, we've got 16 minutes to go, and we've got a sprint race to the end. I know we've had our 9 hours off in between, which is not normal in this, so it's still one heck of a race. Under 16 minutes left to go. We've got to sprint. Nicky Katzberg, Haase in these two cars out there on track. BMW Virtus, Audi, Rover Racing, BMW M6, Audi Sport Team. I've said never discount them. BMW, Audi, BMW, Audi, Porsche, Audi. They're always in there in the mix. But it is the Rover Racing number 99 BMW of Nicky Katzberg that currently leads this final 15 odd minutes of our 2020 ADAC Total Nürburgring 24-hour race. 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, and I did mention the Class Cup 5 battle between the Pixum CFN Team Adrenaline BMW 240 and the Team Aviaso Rennsport BMW 240. That was a very close battle. That's kind of settled down now. They're both running 34th and 35th overall. I'm talking about the number 240 of the Pixum team and the number 239 of Team Avia. There's now a 42-second gap in that class battle there, so that's settled down, and I'm sure that will continue for the remaining 15 minutes or so of what we've got in front of us. Christopher Haase then continues to chase down the leading BMW. Will BMW take the win? It's been a decade. They've never had a GT3 win. The last time a BMW won the N24, it was in the GT2 class with an M3. This is an M6 GT3 now. And I'm not going to hex it by saying anything more about it being, it is what it is. It's a potential BMW win on the cards at the moment, and that's purely because he's got an 18-second lead on the car in second place, which is Christopher Haase, Audi Sport Team, Audi R8 of car number 3. Pit stop. He's got enough fuel to go to the finish, and he's got a brand new set of wets. So it's not about tyre management, it's not about fuel saving now, Snowy. This is about pure racing, pure driving.
Absolutely, exactly what we want to see. All that stuff's all part of it, but 15 odd minutes to go, and we're down to what we watch it for. If you've got petrol in your veins, we watch it for racing, and that's exactly what we got with 15 minutes to go, 13 minutes to go, actually 13 and a half minutes to go, of a 24-hour race, exactly as it should be. Nicky Katzberg, 83 laps completed in the 99 Aurora Racing BMW M6, right up at the front there. But, as you say, only 18 seconds ahead of the Christopher Haase driven number 3 Audi Sport Team Audi R8 LMS. German honours to be won here on the German circuit.
They said, you know what, Snowy, they said it was going to be a Mercedes whitewash. What they didn't contend with, though, the people who were saying that, was the Nordschleife itself. The Nordschleife is who picks the winner, and it's certainly been the case here this year. And the favourite for the win at the moment, by dint of it being the leading car, is a BMW. Let's have a look behind that lead battle, though, for a short moment, with the battle for third not exactly being a quiet. In fact, it's a closer battle between third and fourth. That's an all BMW battle. BMW Team Schnitzer, Augusta Farfus in the 42 in third place, has a 13-second gap on Marco Wittmann in the Rover Racing, the sister car to the leading car. That's car 98 in fourth place. We've got a minute and 17 seconds before we then see Dries van Toor come through in the Audi Sport Team entry, car number 1, and then the Fricadelli car, the Fricadelli Porsche, Mathieu Jaminet at the wheel of the 31 is in 6th place.
Well, the gap maintaining between first and second. We've just got a sector time update there between the leading number 99 BMW and the second place number 3 car. It remains at 18.6 seconds, so despite being most of the way or halfway through that lap, it still hasn't changed. It's within the same second. Nobody's gained, nobody's lost out there. It's still exactly at 18 seconds. 18.6 it was across the line. It's 18.4 now, so it's a 2/10. It's not enough to make any difference. I think it just made possibly the most valid point of the whole weekend there, Joe. You can put all the strategy into it, all the different tyres, all the weather permutations, different dynamics of cars, front engine, mid-engine, rear engine, but who decides at the end of the day? The Nordschleife decides.
Darren Wood is saying he would have put slicks on that Audi. There's nothing to lose. It's a dry line. I tell you what, though, Darren, you know this place. You're a big fan of this race and have been out and watched this race close hand for a lot of years. I'm not sure if that would have been too much of a gamble, because we've got lots of parts of this track where you have to move. You simply must move off the racing line to get by the back markers, and off the racing line is treacherous. So I'm sorry, mate. I know we agree on most things, but I'm going to take a contrary opinion on that one and say that would have been far too courageous to do.
Not like you at all. I have to say though, what?
Not like maybe a bit contrary, or
Yeah,
not courageous.
Not likely to be contrary, not likely to be courageous anymore. No, those days are long gone. But no, I would have to say, pains me though it does, I would agree with you. I think, no, seriously, but I think Slick's on that. I understand the thinking. What have you got to lose? Well, you've got a motor race to lose because, as you say, you go offline, there's too many variables, too many possibilities. You're pushing on that Rover BMW using all the exits of the curve that he possibly can.
He's using,
absolutely everything to keep that pressing on.
Is that not a bit risky though? That's where the water stays, isn't it? It's got that like brick paving across the actual coloured curbing, and the water is retained in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're bringing up the water, and it's surely that's slippery. He's in a hurry though, isn't he? Nicky Katzberg flashing his lights at the back marker. I'm here. Get out of my way. I'm coming through. You can just see the urgency. I use this term all the time, Snowy, the body language of the car. The body language of that leading BMW is he's not settling into this. He's absolutely on the very giddy limit in this final 10 minutes.
Well, Christopher Haas has pulled down a couple of seconds out of that, but there is only 9.5 minutes left to go, and it's still a 17.7 second gap. So it is a nail biter right down to the end. As we can see from some in-car footage there, well, not in-car footage, from camera footage, my apologies, of the pit crew for Rover Racing there, and there's people eyes on stalk, that time, hands on the top of the head, just keep it all together. Nicky Katzberg, keep it all together. It's a 24-hour race. We're 83 laps in. We had a 9-hour gap during the night, so we all got a nice little sleep, didn't we? Yeah, as if. And certainly none of the teams did, because it's nail biting. Restarted early hours this morning. It's Nicky Katzberg that's now 17.7 seconds in the lead with just under 9 minutes to go.
We get ever closer to that checkered flag. It's Nicky Katzberg leading, and we kind of take for granted the driver aspect of watching motor racing. We see the cars kind of lap like clockwork in very, very treacherous conditions, and you know what, the pressure is on for not just the leader but the chasing Christopher Haas in the BMW. He's chasing down that lead out to 19.8 seconds now, so it is increasing. The BMW is pulling away ever so slightly, but what I was about to say is, let's not take for granted the man in that car, Nicky Katzberg. He's got to press those pedals at exactly the right time, turn the steering wheel, feel the balance, feel the car, and stay on the track, and that's not an easy ask at the best of times.
So we're on to the final lap now with just under 8 minutes to go, so this should be the final lap of this race. Well, they're running in 9-minute 5s at the moment, so I think this should be the last lap of the race. We've got the sector times updates there. We said it went from 18 seconds down to 17, back up to 20 again. So Katzberg has responded to Christopher Haas just pushing a little bit there, but I think this could well be the very last lap of the race.
Right. Yeah, we're into the final lap, of course. We are. I'm just like, can we just delay the checkered flag and have another few hours of racing at this rate? It's very exciting.
Can we tag the 9 hours on at the missed at the end? Just put it on there.
We should do that. No, we finish by Thursday in some cases, wouldn't we? But hey, if the racing's like this, who cares? That's what we're here for. Christopher Haas continues to chase, and you can see the effort that he's putting in. He's putting in a lot of effort there, as we saw. He's on the Grand Prix Strecker. He's about trying to fathom out the gap there between the leaders. Got out to 20 seconds there. It's just increasing ever so slightly, pretty much at every opportunity, at every braking point, at every turning in point. That Rover Racing BMW extends that lead, and if Christopher Haas is getting constant updates, that's going to be, you know what, that's going to be a bit disconcerting for him, and surely the team are just staying stum, they're staying quiet, letting him get on with the job.
Absolutely, just leave him alone, let him get on with it. It's a bit like the Kimi Raikkonen thing behind the safety car there. I've done this before. Leave me alone. Just let him get on with it. I'm not suggesting Nicky Katzberg is saying that, but I can understand. I can understand the psyche, the mentality of it. Actually, just back off now. Leave him alone. Let him get on with it. He's doing a sterling job. He's responded in nearly 21-second advantage now. That's not a lot after almost 24 hours of racing, I grant you, but since we started this time yesterday. But it is Nicky Katzberg in the number 99 car that is at the head of the field. Front-engine BMW leads on the final lap of this, the 48th running of our ADAC Total 24-hour reigning. 24-hour race here on the Nordschleife. Nicky Katzberg down to Habsburg. Hatzenbach, my apologies, to the last bit of this. Out onto the Nordschleife for the final time.
He's down towards Flugplatz, the high-speed right-hander over the brow and into the almost flat right-hander. It's a double apex corner, and then one of the fastest sections of this Nordschleife down the hill through Schwedenkreuz towards Arenberg. He'll be heavy on the brakes, the car feeling very unbalanced as you come through the high-speed left-hander. He's got back markers in front of him. He's had to back out of it ever so slightly right at the apex of the turn. The GT Golf gets out of the way again. Very difficult race for the slow category classes, of course, wanting to keep out the race. They do not want to influence the result of this race at all. The 99 is already down through Foxhall and towards Ardenau Forst as the Audi of Christopher Haase goes into Arenberg, chasing down that 99. The gap on the track, on the overhead, looks slightly less than 20 seconds. As they click through the sectors, we'll be able to get an update all as the gap ebbs and flows between the leader through Metzfeld, up towards the chicane at Kallenhard, into the left, into the right, and then through the left-hander now, into the right, over the brow of the hill, into the right-hander at Kallenhard, as Haase just going through Metzfeld, down the hill, he's into the Kallenhard chicane now. Gap still at 20 seconds last time through sector 4, so gap remaining a constant. Both of these leading cars absolutely on the edge. The 99 into the section of Exmüller now, through the left-hander, through the right, out towards a very tight section of corners now. It's the left-hander of Exmüller. He'll then come through a right-hander, which is quite tight uphill entry. Gets on the power nice and early. The trees shading the track, so quite a damp track at that part. It's through the fat section towards Bergwerk now for the leader. It's Nicky Katzberg in the Rover Racing BMW M6. He's into the right-hander at Bergwerk. And now it's this very fast section through Kesselchen where it's just easing off the throttle, just maybe feathering the left foot on the brake, do you think, Snowy? Through this fast section, just checking the speed. The racing line, by the way, looks absolutely dry as a board, so that car will surely be feeling quite stable.
Yeah, I think the thing here, just don't do anything any different. Don't try and drive slower. Don't try and stroke it out. Stay where you are. Do what you've always done. Keep in the rhythm, because that's when you make mistakes. Just keep doing what you've been doing. I'm not saying risk it or go flat out qualifying start, but just keep it going up through Klosterneutal, up to the Caracciola carousel. He'll be in a moment, that right-hander before he got to that, and that big slow.
Into the right-hander before the carousel, and then he'll charge up the hill through that right-hander and then up the hill towards the carousel. He's there now, Snowy, and I'm just going to take where is Christopher Haase? The number 3 is just still flat out heading towards that right-hander before the carousel. The 99 into the ball of the carousel and out.
Yeah, indeed. There's the Audi just a little bit behind, so they're going to almost pass one another on the opposite side of the track. Coming out of the carousel, our race leader Nicky Katzberg. Christopher Haase going into the carousel. That's the visual. That's the closest they're going to be on this track at the moment.
Get that in your mind.
There's 20 seconds, but you've just seen the race leader going the other way, and I bet Nicky Katzberg clocked that as well. So there's that car there. He's going up through Hoher now, the highest part of the circuit, down to Wippermann, and he starts now the descent to come down, the fast hill descent to come down to the Dottinger Hoher for the final time.
He's got quite a bit of technical bits though to come, and this is where, if the Audi has a bit of a performance advantage, which we haven't seen, I've got to say, this is where he's going to be able to catch any kind of mistake that Katzberg encounters, because now we're towards Brunchen, and it's the right left of that part of the track that can so easily catch you out. This is where you use all of the curb.
Don't say things like that to on the last lap.
No, but it is.
Absolutely right. So
we take it for granted, Snowy, that these guys, you know, they're absolutely just driving these cars on the edge, aren't they?
He's through, he's done it, he's down to Plantsgarten. There's quite a bit of traffic he's going to encounter in a minute, so he's going to have quite a little bit of traffic coming up through Pflanzgarten up before Schwalbenschwanz. Nice dry line there, perfect view of that for him. It's all marked out in front of him, but just lights flashing already. Nicky Katzberg getting the slower cars there. One of the Caymans nipped down through the inside, beautifully kept out of his way for him there. Into the approach, the right-hander into Schwalbenschwanz, then the left. Another left as well, sort of mini carousel as we call it.
Yeah.
And then it'll be that hard right, the Aston keeping out of the way for him. I think that's the Garage 59 car keeping out of the way there for him. And down into the Dottinghower for the final time. Surely the clock has 10 seconds to go, Joe Bradley.
He's going to see.
It is the last lap. We are right. 10 seconds to go. That's counting down. 3, 2, 1. The clock has stopped. The 24 hours are now up. The checkered flag will be out.
The checkered flag is not for the leader. The cars that are coming across the line, their race is now finished. We've got the leading BMW, the Rover Racing BMW, now on the Dottinghower for the final time, coming down that track towards us now. I've got to say, round of applause to the lower classes, the slower classes, I should say, because they've been very astute, very aware of the presence of our leaders and have kept out of the way, putting themselves on the wetter line and not compromising the leading car at all. Got to say, Nicky Katzberg, Christopher Haase, absolutely flat chat for this final part of this race, and it's been very entertaining to see. It's not over yet though, Snowy. Into the Tiergarten then for the final time. Nicky Katzberg will come into view of his crew very shortly. The final part of the Tiergarten. Here he comes into view, and he will see the checkered flag as the checkered flag flies for the 2020 Nürburgring 24 hours. The winners, Rover Racing, Nicky Katzberg, to the accolade of the team on the pit wall. Congratulations to Alexander Sims, Nicky Katzberg, Nick Yellerly and Philip Eng, and of course all of the Rover team. What a finish. The gap at the line is on about 20 seconds, just waiting for that timing screen to update and give us the final gap at the flag.
They tried, but it wasn't quite Audi Sport Team's day. The second place car, the number 3 Audi Sport Team car, driven across the line by Christopher Haase there, Marco Bertolotti and Marcus Winkelhock in that car as well. But a great Audi Sport Team, you never ever discount them. We said this so many times over this, but today it's a BMW day. Nicky Katzberg it is that takes the 2020 win in the Total ADAC Total 24 hours at the Nordschleife.
15 seconds at the line, Snowy. 15 seconds. He took 5 seconds out of that between Brunchen, between the carousel, let's say, and the line. And I did say if he was going to gain anything, it would have been at Brunchen where he did it. And that's obviously, in my view, where that came.
Third place yet to come across the line. The Augustus-driven Team Schnitzer BMW. That's approaching Tiergarten now. He'll be coming across the line any second, taking third place. Two BMWs on the podium.
Yeah, Sector 7 was where he took the 5 seconds and gained. So great finish. BMW win the N24. First time in a decade, first time with the GT3 SP9 regulations, and that's
first time in 10 years.
Yeah. 21st win for BMW as a mark. Don't forget, we've still got post-race tech coming up, and that'll be Johnny Palmer and Alex Brundle, who will be taking you through to that. I'm pretty sure that Snowy and I are going to have to lie down in a dark room for a little bit after that finish. It always delivers though, Snowy, doesn't it? If we take us back to the start of this race, we always knew the weather was going to come into play. We always knew that it was going to be a tactical nightmare for these teams to make the right decisions, to be on the right tyre at the right time. There is an element of luck, but also I'm an advocate of creating your own luck.
Well, Mother Nature, in terms of the weather, she had control of the dice and just kept rolling it throughout this 24 hours, didn't she? Basically changing it, moving it around. Heavy rain, fog, back on again, dry, back to rain again. What's happening? And yeah, absolutely incredible. So variable for us. But it is those BMWs that have got onto the podium in first and third place. Two different teams. Rover Racing take the top position. and Team Schnitzer take third place. But in between Sandwich is the Audi Sport R8.
Let's have a quick look at our class winners then, and I'll just take you through the class order. And the first class, buried within the SP9 classes, of course, the SPX class, car 704. It's been in and around the SP9 runners. That's the Glickenhaus. Fernandez Laser brought that car across the line, 14th place overall. And further down the order, SP8 was won by the Volkenhurst Horst Motorsport BMW M4. They were 21st overall. TCR class, Tiago Monteiro brings the winning Honda Civic TCR home with a very fine win for Honda, down in 23rd overall. That's car 170. SP Pro class, 25th overall, car 35. That's the Black Falcon team, Porsche 911. The Cup X category was won by the number 111 in 27th spot. That's the Teichmann Racing KTM. The SP10 class won by the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW M4. They're in 29th.